Hey guys, welcome back to Goofs, Gimmicks, and Challenges. Today we're going to be looking at Episode 8 of the Saturday Night Show Season 1, and we're going to be looking at the story of how Hollywood is now in ruins due to COVID. Now, some of you may already know what I mean, and this one is going to be more of like a news report, per se, than a comedy one. We've had different things this entire season so far of Goofs, Gimmicks, and Challenges, and so this one's going to take on a more news aspect. Now, obviously, COVID has taken the world by storm, not in a good way. And because of that, it has had repercussions on all sorts of things from around our globe, whether it be business, entrepreneurship, industries, families, lives, everything in our world has been impacted by this. And as SNS is a outlet through which media is created, we wanted to take a look on how the media outlets have been affected by COVID. So let's get started. Now, there are both good sides to this and bad sides to this. However, even still, the good sides can be taken, well, in a bad way. So let's look at the bad first. Okay, so looking at Hollywood, COVID forced all theaters to be closed. Every single one was closed down. Not until recently have they been reopened. But because of that, movies had to be postponed. Yes, that's right. Movies that were about to release were postponed. In addition, sets wherein the people were working and shooting the films had to be closed down because of COVID, causing the schedules for release dates and the schedule of filming to be pushed back. Things in pre-production had to be shut down because no one could meet to plan. And production shut down because no one could meet to film. And post-production because no one could work to edit. Now, as time went on, the post-production, the editing, could slowly get back into the groove. Now, this meant that movies that were filmed but just needed effects could be worked on, but at a slower pace because most people were working from home. Now, this did finish off movies for theaters still yet, though the theaters weren't open. So what did Hollywood do? They chose to turn from the theaters to digital. However, this really did hurt their bank because think of it. How many of you are going to pay extra to see it digitally when you can just wait a little bit longer and buy it for a cheaper price? I mean, there is no reason to pay the more money to see it because you're seeing it the same way you would see it if you bought it. There's no extra experience of being at a theater and things like that. Yes, there are great family opportunities, grab a thing of popcorn and all that, but you're paying for the same experience you would have if you bought it later. And therefore, that was a huge hit for Hollywood for sure. Now, what happened to those movies that were still filming or in pre-production? Well, pre-production movies were basically shut down completely or postponed until further notice. We have no clue when some of these could, if they even are happening, are going to happen. This could be some years ahead, pushed away. And for the MCU, Marvel Cinematic Universe, that moved them around a year and a half away from where they did, and that shifted all of their movies and shows with it. In addition, if we're going to look at the production, it took a couple of months, but finally they were let back to filming. One of the first ones I heard about was the new Batman movie, which London said, yes, you can film now, and so they got back into that. But that still pushed away the release date, and for many movies with their trailers coming out, they don't have a date, they're just saying the year, most of them saying 2021, because they don't even know what's going to happen with it. So that, in a nutshell, is what has happened to Hollywood. But the fact is, they are not the only media outlets out there. That's right, we still have the news, and we also have newspapers and things like that. So news anchors, newspapers, news channels, things like that. Now, in opposition to Hollywood's great deficit, the news channels boomed. Why? Because news channels feed off of chaos. Now, you may be saying, David, but the news channels, they're helping us. Maybe. However, with most, basically all news channels, everything comes from a bias. And this bias can twist things to make things seem crazier or less crazy. It can upgrade or downgrade things. And in a global pandemic, they hit a jackpot. Because, yes, everything that has been going on is terrible, but a news network feeds off of viewers, because viewers equal money. Pandemics mean people are going to want to watch the news, and therefore their viewers spike and their income spikes. What have they been doing? Most news channels have been spiking and upgrading the news to make it seem crazier than it actually is, and in some places downgrading it to things that are really good, making them seem not as good as they should be. Now, the news channels and news in general shouldn't be biased, and it shouldn't be going into these things. It should be telling us the facts. However, in recent times, it seems that a lot of them have been using this to their advantage. And business-wise, that makes very much sense, because money is steadily flowing in for them. And for that, on the business spectrum, bravo for them. So on one side, Hollywood's deficit is continually going down. They're barely starting to gather their footing again. But on the other media side, with news and all sorts of things, of updates, and all these new things that keep you in touch with the world, those are booming. So in a weird way, the media as a whole was helped and hurt. The question is, after all this is over, will the news outlets take a dive and Hollywood take a rise? As people want to escape the past, all this terrible things that have happened? We'll have to wait and see. But for now, that is what the impact has been on the media as a whole. So with that news update, I guess you could call it, that'll be it for this Goofs and Gimmicks. We'll see you guys next week, where we're going to be looking at how perspective is everything, based off of episode 9. That's right, episode 9. Can't believe we're almost done with Goofs, Gimmicks, and Challenges season 1. So, hope you'll see us next week, and thank you guys for joining us. SNS, we'll see you then.